And hello, folks. Sorry about that. Was just trying to get some things fixed. Welcome to Thursday's show, Writer's Block, where we build worlds with words. And today we have a couple of very amazing guests. And would you two like to introduce yourselves, however you'd like?
I don't want to go first.
Okay, I'll go
Go
first.
ahead, Nick.
My name's Nick. I'm the host of the Hidden GMs podcast. We've wrapped up season one. We're in between seasons, and season two it will be announced later this quarter. And yeah, it's an interview show that I do, and that's my main function in the TTRPG community right now. But yes, I have the same name as our host Red, so I think we're gonna go with me as Nick, and then Red as Red.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
I mean, that works. I'm Darren. I am the game master, writer, creator, all that fun, fantastical stuff for Another Bad Side Quest, a homebrew D&D 5e Victorian gas lamp dark fantasy Edwardian stream that's been going on for almost a year.
Hell
Yeah, you can check us out Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you would like. And we got a bunch of other cool stuff in the bags, so stay posted.
Right on. And Omni, would you like to introduce yourself again, man?
Thank you, appreciate it. Hey everyone, I am the last Omnitech, your favorite robot American, and I am the sole creator, writer, editor, artist behind the Legacy Tabletop Role Playing Game project. If you've seen the hashtag Legacy TTRPG and a little bit of my art on Twitter, that's what I do and what I've been doing for 15 years solo. And we're finally nearly done with the demo that is hopefully going to be out by the end of this month. I know I keep saying that, but maybe at one point life will stop sending me to the hospital. Until then, that's my line. I'm sticking to it. But yes, and I do this with Red, and I'm also on DM streams as well on Saturdays as a player. So yeah, that's me, folks. Good to see all of you.
And before I do my mini introduction, let me get into the show. Again, folks, I am sorry about the issues with the video. Audio should be completely fine. It's probably gonna get to the point where I just don't run cams anymore. But regardless,
some channel art for us then, if that's the case.
well, I mean, we'll just use the thingy, the incarnate thingy. I'll have more ad space, I guess. But
fair.
My Wi-Fi is bad right now, so I'm gonna switch to audio only. I don't blame you. It's actually just the bitrate of the stream. I don't know why my ISP is deciding to do this right now, but let's see. Okay, there's an ad rolling. Yeah, that is bizarre. It like keeps dropping to 0. That's rough. Anyway,
Terrible.
that sucks. But anyway, so first hour of the show, what we do is we go around in a circle-ish, and we give each of our words one by one. So let's start that with Nick. What is your first word, my man?
My first word is vessel.
Vessel.
Do you want me to explain why I chose this word, or would you just like me to drop it on the table and let it marinate?
No, absolutely explain. I'd like to hear your reasoning behind it.
Okay, so I chose vessel for a couple reasons. One, because it has different possible interpretations. You could think like blood vessel and kind of work that route with it, or you could think of vessel like a ship. My initial intent was kind of to use tall ship as my word, but I didn't want to like really like be so specific that it couldn't be interpreted in a number of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just a huge fan of nautical adventures. I've got a bookshelf over there that's just chock full of every seventh sea, companion from the old version and the new. And if I'm running D&D, there's some kind of nautical adventure involved. And vessels are not, confined to the ocean. That could mean a number of things. So that's why I chose that word.
Excellent, man. That's a really good choice. I also like the sort of nautical-esque adventures and piracy and stuff. I want to try Seventh Sea. That's the same guys that make Call of Cthulhu, right?
I know. I'm not sure. I know that John Wick is the writer and stuff on Seventh Sea, but I'm not sure if it's like specifically the same people who do Call of Cthulhu, but it could be.
I think it's Chaosium. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty awesome.
Okay, so I like your explanation for that. That's cool. I like my I hate to break it to you, my words don't have an explanation. They're just off the top of the head. But I hope you forgive me for that.
After week 3, I think we can only be expected to pull words out of hats and then extrapolate on them.
Just to make sure we don't overlap. But
Yep.
Darren, what is your first word, my man?
My first word is Discord.
Oh, the thing I so often have issues with.
So say we all, Red. So say we all.
Oh wait,
Not in the Discord in the essence of like things not being in harmony with one another.
Okay.
The main example that comes from this, honestly, is the character Discord from the My Little Pony series, played by Malcolm McDowell.
I love that
He's a
character.
dragon. He's a dragon, but he's all these different parts. He's got like a giraffe neck, a dragon head, got like an alligator arm. He's just all screwed up.
I also like that you're using Discord while you're a musician. I think that kind of has an additional layer
Oh
of
yeah,
meaning to it there.
I actually have another music-related word on top of that too.
Oh, right
the
on,
next
man.
one, kind of.
Nice.
Discord, the
I'm
definition
thematic.
of learning jazz chords.
I don't want to talk about jazz. Jazz is hard.
Did you see that meme I posted the other day of learning simple jazz chords?
Hank.
Nice.
Omni, what's your first word, man? Let's see if you actually
All
wrote
right.
things down. They're just scribbles.
I
It's just a
did
smiley
actually.
face.
I did exactly 1.5 minutes ago. I came prepared. Don't ignore the fact that I was only prepared after 1 minute and 30 seconds ago. Mercenary is the first word I'm going to be
Mercenary.
using today.
Do you have a reason? I almost said, do you have a reasoning behind that? Do you have a reason for that word?
Yeah, so my words today are going to be largely things that I think we haven't really looked at so much in the stream. I find that that's a thing that I've started gravitating towards, is going like, this is an element of the world we haven't tooled with yet, and I'm sort of grab it and dredge it up. And we've talked about the possibility of like soldiers, as an example, being a thing that might roam the waste, work for different empires or like city-states or what have you. But I don't think we ever really talked about like any specifics or like of the nature of it. And I sort of am viewing mercenary in terms of the classical sense, because everyone always thinks of mercenaries in the modern sense where it's soldiers of fortune. But in truth, what it really is, historically, is that most armies that existed thousands of years ago, or even hundreds of years ago, they were actually the bulk of almost every army was whoever you could convince to fight for you. And if you couldn't convince them anymore, they become mercenary and join someone else's flag. And,
Germany.
Like everything, like literally every empire has at least one point where one army or region just kind of said, screw it, I'm joining the other guy. And hey, it works. So I'm kind of using mercenaries.
Convincing, I'm going with him.
He gives me more money and cooler food. So I'm gonna...
Yeah, and he pays, but he's got benefits, okay?
He's got dental, all right? They gave us dental and optic. What do you got?
So my word is flat.
Nice.
Flat.
Flat can mean a lot of different things. Obviously, if you're one of those cool people that thinks the Earth is flat, that's cool, I guess.
This isn't
It's not.
Discworld, okay?
Only if Discworld is the only time I'll be okay with that.
Yeah,
Discworld.
only anything written by Terry Pratchett is the only thing acceptable where the world is flat.
But I don't particularly have a reason behind flat. I honestly want to see what reasons you guys have for it, because the first thing I thought of when flat is just like, well, you think of a wasteland, you think of this desolate, flat, open thing with like the horizon runs on forever. So
Yeah.
that was my first.
Honestly, my brain thinks in different, like, I think flat in the context of, like, square-sided Himalayan-style mountains where it's, like, flat, these flat plateaus that stack in this
Oh,
different kind of
yeah.
manner.
Oh yeah, those were all. I love that. That sort of like geological formation. Looks really
Yeah.
cool.
It looks really cool.
I was
Terrain
thinking apartment.
pancakes.
You're thinking of what? I'm
For some
sorry?
reason, like I was like, oh, flat. Yeah, we got to figure out where these people live. You know, like flats.
That's
and,
cool
like,
though. Yeah.
Oh,
do they have roommates in this world? Like that's where my head went when I
Uh,
heard flat. So yeah, but
What's the
flat
rental
world
situation in
fixes.
Hayes? Like,
Hey,
So
babe,
what's
wanna
in
come back to my
general-
flat?
Alone.
what's a studio apartment run for roughly? Like middle of Blazewall.
Nick, what's your second word, my man?
my second word is crime. I think you can learn a lot about a society or like a culture based on what they view as deplorable behavior, punishable behavior, where they draw the line in the sand and say, yeah, you have freedom up to this point. Where they draw that line, I think, tells you so much about their values, and it kind of indirectly tells you about the things that they view as good virtues as well. So if you know what they think is bad, you can kind of like extrapolate what they might think is good. So I think knowing what's a crime in a given setting is pretty useful and telling.
I think so too. I think that's actually a really good point because, we often think of society as being like yin and yang. You know, you have this force of good that's like, oh, we're trying to prevent the force of bad from happening, and the force of bad is trying to get around the force of good. So yeah, if you have, if we figure out what the crime is, we can figure out what virtuous things might also be. So yeah, that's a really good word. That's really broad, but it's also weirdly specific in some contexts.
True.
Pretty
but,
awesome, yeah.
Yeah, Darren, what is your second word, my man?
Cadence.
Cadence.
There's our second music word.
There you go. Yeah. Cadence, so like patterns, specifically in the way that people talk, like dialects and stuff like that. And speech.
No.
And cadence, obviously, a musician and like how things are put together pattern-wise, musically, rhythmically.
I think you said Credence for a minute. I'm like, somebody's a CCR fan.
Down by the river.
Half of his songs are about rivers and swamps.
Cadence, sorry for man, I messed up that CCR reference, but I have something to say about cadence. So what I think about when I hear cadence in the context of like a civilization is just like, what is the vibe? So like I've been to New York City once, and it was stressful just to even be outside there for me because I'm used to coming from small town areas and stuff.
Yeah.
So like just the pace that everyone was moving, everyone had a place to be, a place to go. Whereas now I live in kind of a small town, and the cadence is very much like, it's Sunday afternoon. There's, a little garden market you can go to. It's just kind of like the slower pace of living. So I can kind of relate to that word in that way.
So yeah, like what the rat race is sort of like in a different sort of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've come from suburbia, and I lived around St. Louis for a while, so I knew like everybody there. It's like a natural thing to like dehumanize when you live around way too many people. So it's really easy to do that. But when you live in like smaller, like more scattered communities like I do now, and that sort of like rural-esque suburban area, people are a lot nicer to each other. People are a lot like, oh, the few interactions that we get, we want to make them good, because if you can have a crap load of bad interactions in a city, but you remember the one good one, right? Because like that's
right,
because it's a rarity. So I think I think cadence is a great word for that for a lot of different reasons.
It's funny for me because I live in Winter Park, which is sort of like a slightly more, it's not rural, but it's small town version of Orlando, small rich person's version of Orlando. I live in the poor part of that, but it's still in.
So you're telling us you're rich?
God no, God, I wish. If I did, I'd be looking a lot better, and our channel would have a lot better equipment. But the thing that I always experienced was like I have the opposite issue, where it's because of the way the suburbs are spread out, people are weirdly more distant from one another and therefore insulated from the consequences of actions. So you can have someone who's rich up the wazoo living within a quarter mile of only like 4 other people, and they will totally treat each other like crud, because what are they going to do? Get in the car and drive over to me to knock on my door and complain? No one's going to do that.
Yeah.
So whereas when I go in Orlando proper, when you're rubbing elbows with people, they can reach out and touch you. And as a result, you kind of want to set a better example with those people. So I think it can cut both ways, Sorry, that was a weird divergence there.
No. I mean, hey, this show is about improv. I'm totally cool with just going on tangents and stuff like that. Just fair warning, if I do cut you off, I'm not doing it because I'm mean and because I'm from St. Louis and I'm an asshole. I'm doing it because we need to get the show going along.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's fair.
But so my next word, how about search?
Nice.
I like search because that could. Well, yeah, but like search could be something as simple as like, oh, I'm looking for a MacGuffin, or it could be something or something a little bit more complex, a little bit more nuanced, as looking for a philosophy like the pursuit of happiness and that sort of thing. Like, yeah, I mean, you could seek a lot of things in this world, and I'm sure a lot of people seek more material things, mostly just to survive. So, I feel like search is a very broad word, but it's also a narrow one if you, depending on how you cut it. But Nick, what is your final word, my man?
Uh,
Oh wait,
the
did I
second
skip
word
on me?
out.
Did I
Yes, you
skip
did. It's
I'm
good.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it
You're
doesn't
good.
matter. Just go past
Screw
it.
you! Screw Omni.
Look,
Go
if you skip me now, I come back with 2 later. Let's get it out of the way. So I'm gonna put community in there, which
Oh, okay. I
en-
like community.
entertainingly it segues pretty well into my discussion, and I think it's a thing we can sort of talk a little more. In that same way, we really haven't like started to get too much into like what a city state or what a community. We know what they broadly look like, but we really haven't focused on any of the specificity. But I'd like to see how communities act in this, like broadly, scale wise as well. And we'll get there. That's pretty much it. I don't need to take up more airtime. Let's move on. Nick.
Yeah.
All right. Word number 3 from me is commodity.
Oh, I like all these C
So-
words.
Yeah, this is like C day. So,
C day.
yeah, commodity, it's kind of speaks for itself. What is this culture? What's valuable in this world? Are precious stones valuable, or is every street paved with diamonds? Like what is rare, and what holds value? Not just what's valuable today, but what do people like hoard? What do they think is valuable?
Yeah,
in
no,
the
I think
long
that's
term.
I think that's a good question because there's planets that literally rain diamonds. So like if something is like really really common, it wouldn't really have the same worth. And there's planets literally made of diamond, if I'm correct. Like
There's at least asteroids and meteors and stuff, and there probably are a couple of planets that are made of diamond.
yeah, and,
So-
it's all about when I think commodity, I think of like how do people control this to make it a commodity? How do people can like control the
Ah,
flow
Right.
of it?
Yeah, commoditizing a resource,
Yeah.
because that's the
Yeah.
trick. It's resource becomes commodity when commodity is traded and controlled.
That is a $3
So-
word right there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I really like that word. It actually our words actually have a weird theme to them, like unintentionally so. But I don't know how there'd be a flat commodity. But anyway, Darren, what's your final word, man?
Apathy.
Apathy. Ooh. Okay, what's your meaning behind this one, man?
Regardless of well, kind of going on with what we've already been going on with, like how things have worked out, the community, commodity, and all that kind of stuff. There always is that general sense of apatheticness between people in society. Some people that just have a lack of interest in everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So in context of this kind of thing, it'd be more along the lines of people would have a lack of interest in, being a part of the community or the crime or being a mercenary, like an apathetic attitude towards something. And what would that be and why?
Yeah, that's a good point because like even today we have a really bad case here in the States and a lot of other democracies where there's just a general like apathy towards representation and wanting to be a part of the civic duties of just being a citizen of a country that is a democratic republic. Yeah, I feel, and apathy could be as simple as just like I don't care if this guy's dying. I need food. Like it could be as
Yeah.
simple and like
Right.
primal and
Yeah, right to the point of being like, I don't care that you die, I survive. Off we go.
Yeah.
My kid needs this Xbox for Christmas. Your kid's just gonna have to go without.
Yeah.
And you need a fist to the face because this is clearly Christmas, and we know what happens in Christmas time in the stores. So
Death.
yeah,
My kid gets this, you get my fist. That is the end of the
you get a
conversation.
dental bill, and my kid gets a new toy.
Nope.
Great exchange.
Hope you have dental insurance. All right, Omni,
Yes,
what is
I
your?
do, but I don't need it.
I don't need it either. Omni, what's your last word, man?
Final word is weapon. We've talked about like weaponizing people and weaponizing tools before, but I don't think we've ever really talked about bespoke weaponry before. Things made to kill in this setting. We've like glazed past it once or twice. The talks of like blunderbuss and primitive firearms and
Yeah,
like the occasional medieval style weapon. But I'd like to see a little more about that, and maybe build a little bit of that. And that's not the fact that I like drawing weapons at all and might want inspiration. You know,
no, I totally understand, man. Like, it's just like Let me see here. Actually, what is going on with the cams? Oh, it's Steam. Thank you, Steam. I didn't ask you to load.
Oh god, I have to close Steam every time I start, or else I'll just randomly be like, why is my PC suddenly exploding? I don't know. Oh, Steam is trying to update a game I haven't played in a year and a half.
Why are the cams?
Why do you still
not
have a
updated?
game in your computer that you haven't played in a year and a half, taking up
Because
that
my
space?
computer's a piece of crud, and I play on Xbox.
Okay, valid.
I mean, hey, I've done that. I'm
One
just
day.
like, what's taking up so much space on my computer?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, World of Warcraft still installed. I don't know why, but it is.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry too. Anyway,
Do not go back to the WoW days, please.
I've long since left that horrible
Yep.
life behind.
Yeah.
Burning Crusade was my last trip into that. What's your
Me
word?
too.
Yeah. High five. Slap.
I played this expansion, and I will use my one F word for this show. Fuck Blizzard. So,
Yeah.
Fair.
my final word
That's my F word.
is rain, but in the sense of REIGN, not rain as in like the weather, but rain like ruling, because no king rules forever.
Ooh.
That's a World of Warcraft reference. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. That was a Warcraft reference before that. I think Reign of Chaos was actually Warcraft 3, and that was a good game.
Reign of Chaos was good, but
You're
that was good.
king. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't vote for you.
I didn't vote for you.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Zug zug.
All right.
Ready to work.
Something need doing? Yes. We need to. We're gonna go around and to sort of narrow down the words that we're going to work on. Let's each of us pick 2 words that we like. They can be your own. That's fine. I might call you an egomaniac, but you can pick your own words. I don't care. I'm kidding, by the way. You can pick your own words. If there's a
We
word,
Ego
don't
kills
judge.
I'm not judging at all, even though I'm joking about it. I'm not being passive aggressive. I promise. I'm actually just joking about it. But so, but like, you know, for example, if you have a word that you really like, for example, let's say Nick really likes the word vessel because he has a thought already in his head and he wants to throw it down. Yeah, go ahead. Like, absolutely. But yeah, no rules here. Just pick 2 words.
Okay.
No
And
rules.
who's first pick?
Anybody? Go ahead.
Yeah.
We don't have to go around.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna say Cadence is my first pick.
Cadence. I like Cadence. I'm curious to see what you guys have for
I want crime.
that.
Said no one ever.
There's not enough crime.
You know what?
It's
You know
not
what?
enough,
You guys gotta run out and break some buildings down. Go loot some stuff, man. Come on. No, don't do that, please.
Oh god, yeah, no, especially not today, guys.
For the
Seriously.
FBI
okay,
agent watching,
okay.
that's legally a joke. So
I don't live where the FBI can get me.
yeah, you're gonna have to
Take
worry about
care of
the
yourself.
Royal Mounted Police.
They're gonna come on their horses and tell me that I need to go in the back of the carriage wagon.
They're gonna give you a stern talking to.
Get in the wagon.
Yeah.
eh? We're taking you to
Uh.
court.
Take you to court, eh?
Whoever wants to pick the next word. We have crime and cadence.
All right. I guess I'll go next. I really want to see Vessel. I really do.
Vessel.
That's really cool, and I do so love exploring technology and machinery in these kind of settings. So yeah, let's run with that.
I'm gonna pick weapon.
Sweet.
Yes. Thank you.
I like weapon.
I like weapon.
This is my weapon.
Who
Rain.
thought Sasha? Rain. Okay, right on, man. Thank you. I like that word too. Okay, so let's see. So Nick, you still need to pick a word. Actually, the rest of us need to pick. Darren already picked his too, so we just need to pick one each.
Okay. I'll try. Let's go mercenary.
Mercenary. So we're talking about weapons and mercenaries. Something tells me that we have some.
This is getting cool.
And crime and vessels. We're building. We're just building.
It's a
an army
pirate
now.
ship. Okay, it's a pirate ship. Let's just get it out of the way.
Okay. Yeah, Sky Pirates.
Got pirates be cool.
Sky Pirates be awesome.
All right, Omni, what's your last pick, man?
I am gonna go with. I'll go with community.
Community.
A pirate community who sing sea shanties in a certain cadence.
On an airship.
To commit crime?
Who
With
reign with
weapons?
weapons?
Why does it sound like the intro to a 90s cartoon?
Oh, dear God.
All we need to do is either slap the words radical or pizza on it, and yeah, no, we would have that. Perfect.
Yeah,
Nope.
radical cowabunga, let's go, man.
Why don't we'll just call it
Like,
Radical Pizza? I think that'll sell.
Radical pizza pirate mercenaries.
Radical Pizza
in the
Pirates. No,
community
no,
of
no, got it.
crime.
Radical Pizza Pirates. That's it.
Now we sound like a supervillain group out of SpongeBob in the early days.
Oh God, yeah, we do. Every villain is lemons.
The Dirty Bubble.
Man Ray was my favorite.
I love Man Ray. So this is your wallet. Yeah.
That meme is legendary. I will be on my I will be on my deathbed and I'll be like, "Is this your wallet?" And my nurse will be like, "Shut up and die already." Oh God.
When I'm on my deathbed, I want the heart rate monitor to be wee wee wee.
Oh God.
The show isn't about SpongeBob. We gotta do improv.
Oh God.
Okay.
SpongeBob
so-
memes are apparently a thing now.
Whoever has the first idea, literally just spit it out. First thing on your mind.
Sky Pirates.
Sky Pirates. Okay.
It's a thing, yeah.
So what word are we gonna tie to that? You could tie literally any of these words, but please pick one or two.
Pirates, crime.
Crime.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Crime.
sounds
There.
great.
Crime is our first word. Crime.
Give me 1 second. I'm just going to close this door because I really hate how that light completely illuminates the back of my hideous room.
But I get to see the
There we
back of your
go.
pretty head. You
Okay.
can't hear me.
I return.
We were talking trash about you while you were gone. So
Damn it. I'm just going to go again.
so crime. We keep talking about pirates, and I must say I'm biased because I love sea shanties, and I sang sea shanties all the time in choir. So I love me some good folk music.
So good.
So let's see here. What do we do with crime, fellas? I feel like we're plotting a heist, not improving a show.
Something illegal, clearly.
No.
I mean,
What?
here's the
No,
thing.
crime? Illegal?
Define the crime. Define the crime, right?
Okay.
Define is it pillage and plunder and all that kind of stuff, or are we doing are we stealing, just heisting from like big kind of people? Is our crime that we smuggling, that we we transport stuff? Do we run drugs?
Or
Do we
is the
have
crime
spice?
is the crime something more nuanced? Is it like you cannot
is it something
speak
small?
out against this
Right.
person? You cannot say
think
negative
it-
things about the government. That sort of crime.
I think it would be cool if the crime that we discuss is what's different that's a crime in this world versus what we experience in our world. Like the things that are totally fine here that would be strangely taboo in this fantasy world.
That's
I think
fair.
that would be kind of cool. So, like, what's something
Yeah.
relatively mundane that you would be like, if you got teleported to this world, you would get arrested for immediately, just for no reason. Apparently, no reason, but they have a cultural reason for banning whatever this is.
I think, like, as always, whenever these sort of things come up, I usually like to remind everyone with a giant asterisk that AS is, in fact, the realm, the setting we're working on, is, in fact, highly fractured and a post-apocalyptic setting. So all the
Yeah.
communities are really just getting started. The biggest things are dealing with are city-states. We don't really have huge overarching, like, world things. But that doesn't mean there aren't probably some basic things. I think we can easily, like, check off, like, some stuff that probably is going to just easily be like, yeah, no, murder's still not cool. I don't think anyone's okay with that. Generally speaking, like, honestly, murder and theft are two things that almost never fly, but that's just because
Vandalism.
they undermine any society.
Vandalism as
So-
well is one of those like really early. So I'm thinking back
Yeah.
to like Hammurabi's code, like that sort of thing. Like the way that
Mhm.
they handle crime is just like if you kill a man, you'll be killed. If you take out another man's eye, you'll have your eye plucked out.
That's retribution.
Yeah, and
The eye for an eye method.
now Nick also said, what can we take something that is like mundane in our world that would be illegal in this world using technology in a crowded area? Because technology of the old world has this sort of implication of when you use this technology, it doesn't work the same as it used to. So our
Yeah,
analogy, our analogy keeps coming back to microwaves. A microwave might be a bomb rather than like serve the same function as it would like just reheating food. It could explode. In the same
Right.
way, you guys ever play Fallout 3?
Yep.
Yep.
So the bomb in Megaton, like that would be like setting off the bomb in Megaton by like trying to operate a microwave around a bunch of people. Like you'd literally probably kill a lot of people. So that would be a crime, I think, just trying to attempt to use this technology, especially in like a crowded area or a walled off city. So
I definitely think there'll be like more restrictions, especially in the bigger city states, where like because again, the laws of physics in this setting have been slightly bent. Not a lot, but like enough to make technology unstable at the best of times, especially the older technology. You're not going to notice anything too bad if you're just a normal person, but if you're making electric relays using semiconductors and highly engineered pieces of equipment, then yeah, no, it probably has thrown all that into a funk, and just be careful with that. So I imagine, yeah, like technology is highly restricted, especially in bigger societies. They
Mhm.
might even have like guilds of artificers or engineers who are basically through trade or forcibly like these guys are the only guys that are really allowed to muck around with old tech.
Would there be some kind of enforcement of that? Like maybe there's someone who comes and knocks on your door at the end of the month and they're like, all right, here's your routine technology inspection because you're living in this crowded flat. We don't want you
Yeah,
like tinkering in
nice.
here and blowing up all your flatmates.
all I can imagine is
Is there any like
just a
is there
I'm
knock at
pretty
the
sure you
door.
work in
knocking?
Flatten there, by the way.
Ma'am,
It's-
ma'am, do you have iPhones?
RTI! God dang it!
My
Throw the
mind
microwave out the window!
Turn
my
the
mind
TV off.
actually my mind actually goes to as it always does to Mortal Engines because I don't know why for some reason I vibe with Mortal Engines in this setting.
You just gravitate
Um,
towards bad movies, I guess.
I do, but bad movies with cool premises.
Like Dinotopia.
Yo, Donatopia was a terrible movie, but man, those books slapped. But the
I can't read, so.
it's a picture book, so you can
Oh,
enjoy
okay,
the
I'll read it.
pictures.
I'll pick it up then.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's literally it's all done like a sketchbook, like a found sketchbook. It's super
Oh,
awesome.
that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
digressing.
my mind goes to that because in that setting, they sort of have a similar situation where humankind kind of messed up the whole planet with tech. And so one of the first things that happens when one of their mobile cities consumes a smaller city, predator cities, I think what they call it. When a predator city eats a city, besides the fact that they literally disassemble the thing and use it to keep their own city going, they immediately have everyone come on. They're like, okay, anyone who has any technology, you're going to put it in the boxes. You're going to go through the metal detector, and then we'll get you started in your new life in our city. Because the last thing we want you to do is to smuggle in like a golden age shotgun that can create like a supersonic shockwave and knock out a block on this thing on wheels that we all live on.
Yeah.
So there probably are like police elements in these. There's definitely police elements in these cities. How separated they are from the military is questionable considering the size of these societies, right? Like,
talking
Yeah, they're
about
smaller, right?
Fallout again. I'm getting Brotherhood of Steel vibes from this. The whole idea, like, they don't want these people
what
to
a
have their hands
good
on
connection.
technology. They don't want these
that's straight up, yeah.
they don't want these simpletons handling this old world tech that brought the world to an end to begin with. So they're just like, we're gonna take these lasers, we're gonna take this power armor, we're gonna take all this military stuff. You're not allowed to have it because we don't want raiders getting their hands on it and destroying everything. So these sort
That
of
is
like
very fair.
don't get me wrong. I love the Brotherhood of Steel. I literally have a Fallout hoodie with the Brotherhood of Steel patch on the shoulder. They're kind of messed up.
Right.
They're very authoritarian. They're just like they come and take whatever they want. But
It's Fallout. Everything's messed
yeah,
up.
everything's messed up.
Everything's messed up. Yeah.
But
We're not gonna have the good guys in 40K discussion. We've already gone there. But yeah, same vein.
There are
basically.
no good guys in 40K, let's be honest.
except for the tower.
That's the conversation.
Digressing. The tower aren't even good guys. Yeah, but like the Brotherhood of Steel vibe is what I'm getting. Sort of like these people that have all this cool tech and stuff like that and know how to use it. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna come take that. Make sure you don't do anything wrong with it. But they're secretly sort of empowering themselves and like laying influence, like putting their fingers in everybody's pies. They're probably any ideas? I mean, we literally came up with a faction off of crime. I don't know how this happened, but it did. So.
Yeah, this
I
it
mean, it
also
has to
kind of
go in there
reminds me of
now.
the ARC faction that came up before, but this is instead of the information version, this is like the
Militant wing.
I guess. I mean, it kind of it sounds like the ARC, but instead of like dealing and trading in information, they deal and trade in specifically artifacts or technology or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Kinda
is this is
reminds me of
something that also would tie into even reign as well, because it's the reign that
Yeah.
they have over a certain area of technology and all this kind of control that they would have. They would have a reign of some sort over this, be it terror, control, just straight up shooting people that they need to. Who knows?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Or-
also getting a really strong vibe from the Arcane series that recently came out. No spoilers,
Oh,
folks, out there for anyone,
it-
because it's
Very
brand new.
good. Go watch it.
Seriously,
I haven't seen
but
it yet, so yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
without spoiling it, but drawing a very broad brush on the idea, a large portion of the whole concept is the control of technology and power, and how one oppressed community getting a hold of dangerous tech could be very bad for everyone, including them, if not careful. And so you have the privileged folks on top who hoard it, folks on the bottom who want it, and the whole arrangement is a powder keg. No matter who gets it, really is the end of the discussion on that. And I think that you could make the argument that this is. I feel like we're almost making a specific city state. Like this could be a thing that occurs in multiple city states, but there's like one particular one where this is the topic. Like, because you know how that's like in like role playing games where you go to like there's that one town where the issue is that the king is corrupt, and the other town that there's orcs attacking it constantly. They both
the
have the
werewolf
same
town.
problem, just one is the focus. So
I could
I
imagine
feel
like a
like that's the same thing.
small area, almost like the Fertile Crescent, and there'd be like several city states and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
these people that would go around gathering technology would just make rounds. Like they literally just sort of travel in small caravans, and they go and they're like, okay, oh, you got an electronic screwdriver, got to take that from you, buddy. Oh, you have a TV, that's ours now.
Don't
What
turn
if
it
it's not
on.
like so heavy-handed? Like, what if they are traders? Kind of like now I'm thinking Jawas from Star Wars, where they just kind of like roam
Love that.
this kind of post-apocalyptic area, and they're just kind of collecting everyone else's old world junk, but they have a use for it, whereas everyone else is like, "What's this? A toaster? I don't know what that does," and they just throw it out the window.
That
I mean,
maybe
toaster
they're
could be
kinda
a
like-
cannon. Like,
Right.
And I mean,
Yeah.
and in fairness, like another thing too is that a lot of our technology, okay, a lot of it, literally all of it, depends on electrical current, which the average
Mhm.
person in this setting cannot generate. So yeah, no, like this stuff might be super dangerous to operate, but really, 99% of people in this setting probably don't have the means by which to operate it. Truly. So yeah, no, it really might be a situation where like the average person's like, this is a really cool bazooka, but I can't turn on the tracking, and as I understand it, these things could kill me. So I'd rather you take it, and I'll take my extra rations. Thank you very much.
so
Sure.
to these guys, technology is a commodity. So to them, like technology would be worth a lot of money. So it's like the sort of trash for treasure sort of thing. These people see like well, we'll use next example. A toaster could be like literally nothing to most people, but to them that'd be like, oh, the toaster was invented in 3961 when John H. Toaster invented toast. Like
John H. Toaster, is
John
that
H.
canon?
Toaster
That's canon.
better be a character. Someone out there better make a dust null named
You-
John H. Toaster.
No, he has a flamethrower.
Yes, soldier, a soldier. John H. Toaster.
Oh lord.
But this is also giving me like further digressing into like beyond the Jawa, giving me sort of Irish tinker vibes, because like what the tinkers would do in Ireland is they sort of travel around and they do odd jobs and sort of for people, but these guys have a very specific job. They gather tech, they trade tech, and they repair people's tech, that sort of thing. I feel like that's an interesting thing. They're kind of gives you a Roma or a Romani sort of vibe as well, but in
Sure.
I'm also getting Warhammer 40k Mechanist vibes.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Mechanicus.
Mechanicus.
So they have like so they're almost like religious in the way that they think about things. I don't have an Omnisci or anything like that, but
But still, like, just that kind of like, this is what they do, right? Like,
yeah,
they make all the dreadnoughts, all that other kind of stuff. So it's just like,
Yeah.
without these guys like taking these kind of materials and using it for whatever means that they can to either benefit themselves or benefit the community or their own society, it's to them it's just. I've lost my train of thought now. Never mind.
No,
well, no, I know what
I
you're
really
I know what
like
you're getting
that.
at. Yeah, like
I like that too. Yeah.
what if this is the beginning of like one of the first treaty organizations, quote unquote, in this setting? Because so far we've made it pretty much like as a not as a rule, but like as an understanding that most city states, communities, whatever, their relationships are at best dysfunctional. So you might have trade partners, but like literally it is highly competitive and probably not healthy, and they are an inch away from stabbing each other at the first provocation. What if this is because you mentioned like the idea of a Fertile Crescent area? What if these like three city states are actually somewhat well off and are sort of viewing this hoarding of technology together? What if they're doing it to create a group military asset they can use to establish larger power? Not necessarily a thing they're ready to do yet, but we did hear and talk about airships, and that
Yeah.
makes me think about how oftentimes, historically, one of the easiest ways to test technology you might be interested in using in war, but not be accused of using yourself because that's highly unethical and you don't want to be that guy dragged before four different kings, is to let pirates or to let mercenaries take your technology and test it for you. What if that's how we get to the pirates and the crime? Is
That's
that they're
pretty cool.
they're
I'm
prototyping like the idea of like airships or something
gonna
with
create a
some of
new
this tech
paragraph for
or
that
like
one.
other
Captain
technology.
John H. Toaster at
Yeah,
the helm.
Captain John H. Toaster,
All right, Captain,
Scourge
here's what's
of
gonna
the-
happen.
I
scourge
was,
of the
I
waste.
was talking about how much I hated the bonk meme, and I made my own meme.
All right, Mr. Toaster. These guys have come up with this airship. Right now, it's single man. We're gonna put you in it and throw you off a cliff.
Does it
Yeah,
have
no
any
damage.
toasters involved?
Yeah.
Then I'm all for it,
It's
lad.
run on toasters.
It drops toasters as bombs.
Boys, let's get
Um,
this bread.
Yeah.
Instead of a carpet
Oh,
bomb, it's a toaster
God.
bomb.
Oh my gosh.
But I do like that idea, though. I love the idea of this is a joint military venture or a joint like technology venture, and that could also be part of the whole dynamic. Is that this is a joint venture between three different city states, which again, if we're going by the quote unquote lay of the land of the setting, will have a dysfunctional relationship. This might be
Right.
literally the one thing they agree on is like better us controlling this part of the waste than anyone else. So maybe they're dealing with local politics at home, and this group has to basically make themselves useful enough to convince all three city states to stay invested.
Yeah,
Um,
and
makes sense.
this is like what we're creating here is an arms race. Like, because
Yeah.
we have, all these inventors are just like, we want to make the kings happy, or we'll call them kings for now. We can call them literally anything else.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of better words than king to use, but we're trying to make these rulers happy. So we need to like quickly and efficiently test this stuff without having all eyes on us. So let's give it to Captain John H. Toaster and let him try it out, and and then he can come back to us. We'll pay him
making this a shirt.
for using John H.
No,
Toaster.
it literally has to be the leader of a criminal organization is now John H. Toaster.
I'll write
Yeah,
it
no,
down.
he's getting on a shirt. I'm putting him in my shop. I don't care what anyone says.
What
It's
does the
gonna be
H
there.
stand for?
Hellman's.
Good question.
Hellman's
I don't
Toaster.
John Hellman's Toaster.
The second
His family diversified into mayonnaise and toast.
mayonnaise.
Breakfast will
So
be his.
if
He
this
married into the
this is-
tomato family.
John
Oh
Hoagie
my
Toaster.
gosh.
Yeah.
We'll just do
Oh, man.
the H is silent. So we'll. This is so stupid.
I love it.
We
I
have
love
this
it, though.
really,
I love it.
really like hardcore, like Cold War esque idea, and then we have Captain John H. Toaster. It just.
Oh boy.
Oh,
So
Lord.
the caravans are still there, though, right?
Oh, absolutely,
That's how
yeah.
they
Yeah.
collect the technologies. They send out caravans, and when one of these caravans rolls up to your neighborhood in a distant city state, like what does that look like? Do they show up and there's just like this long caravan of wonders of technology you've never seen before, all heaped up on top of wagons, or like what does that actually look
Oh.
like? Is it
Yeah,
like
or-
Antique Roadshow where like you show up and you're like, hey, I have a broken toaster? Is that worth
Guys.
anything? And they're like, get that broken toaster out of here.
Or is it something like what the Jawas have, the sandcrawler, just this big thing that you can see coming? You're like, get your
like
stuff.
some monolithic big vehicle that just comes into town.
dun,
Oh,
Or
dun, dun,
is it a tiny secret locomotive?
We did mention that is a meme with the channel.
That
the
is a meme
tiny
with the
secret
channel,
locomotive.
but this might actually
Yeah.
be the place to do it. So did you guys see? Okay, did you see the last
hype
episode
train?
of Boba Fett? The Book of Boba Fett. Did you see the second episode? It came out.
No,
yesterday.
I have
Mhm.
not. Please.
Oh, okay. Damn it! I
Oh
can't.
yeah, we probably shouldn't spoil like the new cool Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's why I was like Arcane. Oh crap! I gotta.
Let me just
Blue
say.
Zero? What?
Let
All
me
of a
just say,
sudden?
it's really cool. Watch it. They are doing some stuff with the lore that I'm very happy that they're doing. Two people left. I think they're like, no, don't spoil
We're
it.
good. We're good. We're good.
Not gonna
That
spoil
could be
anything.
literally resetting a browser.
Damn it!
Anyway.
I was gonna make a reference to that if you guys had seen it. I don't know why I'd expect you guys to watch something that came out less than 24 hours ago,
Audience.
but
I watched it.
You watched it?
Yeah,
I've seen it, yeah.
The-
I'm just
this-
waiting to watch it with my girlfriend.
The,
I
ep-
don't
the
wanna do that.
episode from yesterday. You saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll mentally just telepathically have
Okay,
this
so-
conversation about that episode. I know exactly what you're referring to. Very cool.
So you know what I'm referring to. Great. Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind. Like that cool sort of that big.
The thing that we won't
Choo-choo.
that shall not be named.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it won't be named. But yeah, that's kind of how I imagine these guys getting around. They use that old world tech. They uplifted like a subway train from like an old metro from the old world, and they just sort of like put it on a new system and they drive it around the desert.
I mean, that could easily
Yeah,
work.
wheels.
Like, my mind is going to Steam Boy now, and how like one of the things. Again, I'm going to go with like every movie that gets like a 2 on Metacritic, but
You're going
visually
real
it's
diesel
beautiful.
punk with Steam Boy, buddy. Jesus.
No, but one
Chugga
of the
chugga.
yeah, but like, well, the thing for me is that one of the things everyone always thinks about when they think about the locomotive is they think, oh, rails. That's sort of a lie. The first locomotives were basically tractors
Mhm.
because, of course, they would be. If I'm building something in a shop and I'm prototyping it, I'm not going to have the infrastructure to lay down miles of rail for a prototype. Instead, you're just going to literally take a tractor and just kind of rig it up to a steam engine or make the equivalent of that.
It wouldn't be very
And so-
fast, but like it would.
I mean, comparatively, if you can get something moving 25 miles an hour and keep it at that clip, that will outrun every human on planet Earth after just a couple minutes. So it just needs
Yep.
to be faster than you. That's it. And that's already a massive advantage. Like that's the reason
That's
the Pony
actually their
Express.
li- That's their their tagline. They're just like the technology grabbers faster than you.
Yeah.
Catch me if you can.
You want to run faster than I love that. Yeah.
So
I love the idea of some like guy, like one of those the guards around the caravan, just like with that tattooed on his arm, faster than you, with
Or
like
it's
a
their
dude
bumper sticker.
their bumper sticker.
Oh
The
god,
last
yeah.
thing you see is just faster than you.
No, it's like Yosemite Sam. It's like keep back, and it's like on the mud flaps.
Yeah, exactly. Faster than you. With like generic trucker girl number 5 on there because
Oh.
inevitably.
But like, what do
God.
we call the? I'm usually the guy that comes up with the names of these things. I'm trying to think of one. I can't. Like, I'm drawing a fat blank.
Well,
Are any of our words good?
Are any of our words?
um,
I keep thinking of rain, but I'm trying to think about like how to tie rain into it.
we could call
Oh,
it
you
the
got
Reign of
search on
Steel.
here. What if it's just called the search? And like
That could
their whole
work.
thing is like searching out the technology, and it's like, hey, the search is
Yeah.
in town. You know,
I like
go
the
grab
Search.
your grandfather's watch, see what we can get at this
Yeah.
antique roadshow / train.
It's also sort of like
showing
ambiguous
up.
enough name to where like most people wouldn't know it, and it sounds
Right.
like code. It's just like, hey, you hear that the search is in town?
Person
The
comes
guy
in,
who
Circus is in town in a way.
the merchant from like 5 city-states away who's way out of their depth is like, oh, what the hell is the search? And they're like, we don't talk about that to outsiders, but we'll gladly keep trading with you. Don't ask again, though, or they will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I like
What's
that,
the
actually.
search?
Like, you
I'm
know,
afraid
What
you
happened to
asked the
Tony
wrong
who
question.
got searched?
if I had to tell you, I'd have to kill you.
Where do you want to be 24 hours from now?
You
In
think
the
this is
ground or
funny?
alive?
You think this is funny? You think the search is funny?
I like that, though, because
Okay,
that
Pesci.
it does kind of feed into the idea of this being, if this is a treaty organization or like an agreement between 3 city-states to sort of pool power to create a joint strategic advantage they can use against the other wasters. I really do love that idea that they're like, we're going to keep it vague. The people who interact with it know exactly what it is, but we don't need people outside knowing what it is. They might even close down trade while the search is doing their thing from city to city. So might have like periods where the walls go up or like the gates close, and the only people they will admit will be the search,
I just had
just to prevent other people from looking.
I had an idea that Darren's gonna really like. Uh,
Oh,
on Trigon, there's this giant locomotive that runs through the desert, and it stops at
Yeah.
towns. Yep, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah.
kind of the vibe I'm
Fuck,
getting.
tattoo.
Yep.
Oh wait, if I go like this, ha!
the
Ah,
sand steamer. That's
nice.
the word.
the sand
That's the
steamer,
word.
yeah. The best. Oh man,
Big sand steamer.
I
We're from
just
the Bernard Daily Insurance Association. We're looking for Bash the Stampede.
There's a stampede.
I'm Machine Gun Millie. She's scary.
That actually does. Yeah, that works. That works pretty well.
I mean, I kind of get Trigon vibes from this world that we're creating. Like, there's just like this weird
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
pocket of like the old world, and people sort of cling on to that, but not as tightly as say like the way that the Fallout universe sort of still clings on to like capitalism. They sort of cling
Right.
on to like
Just,
tradition.
just no space plant people.
Yeah, the space. You see, we
I-
have
I-
this giant ship.
Well, and it's still like thought. No, no.
they're
that
they're
actually
plants.
that actually works almost like a double. That's almost like a double deception. So my mind is still sprinting after like this. I was gonna say tiny secret locomotive, but like tiny comparative.
It's gone, man. It's gone.
Yeah, but the idea of the that might be the way the search is keeping it clandestine. They present the obvious thing, which is these armored convoys that go through the waste, which by the way is still like magnitudes more technologically advanced than like most folks whose armies consist of dude with sawed-off shotgun, blunderbuss, and the occasional mace. Whereas like these guys are driving in literally steam tanks across the desert, and no one could possibly imagine their big trump card is that they're making like freaking aircraft in this setting.
We
Right.
so I don't know if you guys realize this. We did Cadence, we did Mercenary, we did Crime, we did Vessel, we did
Yeah.
Commodity, and we did Weapon.
Gotta love it.
So
Just
that
put it all into one good little box, and we're like, off it goes.
that's
Untasty
great
prompts,
though.
dude.
Like these prompts didn't sound like they had a lot of like you know, in sort of like a kinship, but like they work together really well.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I think so. We have 4 minutes before break, so let's take one of these words that we haven't gotten to, like rain, weapon, community, and let's just run with that for just like a quick sprint.
We can literally just call the airships the weapon. I nailed it. There.
The weapon.
Nice.
Cross that out.
What do outside communities think of the search? Like these caravans, what do people think about it? Like, regardless of, they take technology and, they might give you some extra stuff from it. Do people look at it as something that they would be skeptical of to begin with because of how technology is already looked at in a way where it's like a microwave can explode into a bomb. Why are you guys taking all of it?
Right.
And
I
riding
think there
around
would be
in
some
giant
degree of
cranes.
like distrust.
So there's
And
there's
just
like a
roaming
distrust.
around in this thing, like
We have this common theme of just like having sort of really parasitic and toxic symbiotic relationships. They're like, yeah, we need the search to sort of give our kingdom munitions and stuff like that to protect us from pirates. But they're also not exactly on the up and up because they give the pirates the weapons to create the need in the first place. So
To
What
mention
community-
there are like 3 different city-states participating in this or so, and as a result, like you're not just dealing with, oh, these guys aren't from here. These guys are, for many of these people, probably under any other circumstances, enemies or adversaries to begin with.
yeah.
So like just the idea of like, oh yeah, not only are they these weird folks that work in the middle of nowhere with this super dangerous technology, and I think they're all crazy, but also 2/3 of them are from those other 2 schmuck cities that we barely tolerate. This guy comes into my house and tells me I can't have this heirloom thing, and he says it's a mortar shell, but I think it's my family's flower pot, and I don't want to give that up, even for extra rations. So the rations are very convincing.
And then
So
even that, like, what kind of community does the search have? Like, as everybody lives and travels in this caravan, kind of like, Snowpiercer. What's that like? The front of the train to the back of the train, and like that systemic system. What's that like on the caravan? What's
That's
the
their own
community
whole
for
like
them?
they have their own sub society
They
considering
probably
that's
have
kinda
things
on the
like-
That's
internal
their own
wall.
community.
Yeah.
I
They
bet
probably
it's
have,
a
like, a-
culture that attracts like kind of people who are like wanderers and stuff, and maybe like they're rejected by their own society for
Like
whatever
that
reason. They're just
gray
like,
kind of like morality scenario.
right. They're just kind of like,
Almost
hey, I don't get along
mercenaries.
anywhere. I'll just hop on the search. You know,
Yeah, and I feel like
mercenaries.
I feel like an insult amongst people with the search they'd call like, oh, that new guy, yeah, he's with the caboose. Like
Yeah.
he's at the back of the
Oh,
line.
he's a cabooser.
He's a caboose. I like cabooser.
We can
Bruce,
even break it
you're-
down
What?
further. Like each
What do
the
you think you're,
search,
John Toaster? Get in the back, cabooser.
like the search itself might not even necessarily be like just one vessel. It could be multiple, and each
Well,
vessel
yeah.
has its own subculture, and
That
their
would be
core of it is their station where they're building these things.
Yeah, and
off
they
site,
have-
so no one else can see, including the citizenry, who would probably freak out until it saves their lives during a war.
And they have like different ethics and sort of things like that. Yeah, some of them would be more than willing to like give weapons to pirates and be like, yeah, screw this kingdom. They called John H. Toaster a jerk, so we're just gonna like give all these weapons to these pirates, let them just destroy the city. And then there are other people that are just like, well, we should probably just keep tech as much to ourselves as possible, keep weapons out of the hands of these kingdoms and stuff like that. And a lot of them have their hands forced. I'm getting a very sort of
What if-
Tuscan Raider vibe.
What if that's like the insult within that like Fertile Crest and stuff? Like, why don't you just go be a cabooser?
Love that.
That's like an
I
insult, just
kinda
like
also feel like there would be some maybe inspiration to be drawn from trucker subcultures and stuff, because just life on the road just is
Ace
just
trucking from Cowboy Bebop.
it's just
Yeah,
merciless.
yeah.
You know, it's just like you're just there's so it's they get on the CB and they just start looking for any kind of conversation or companionship because there's nothing but the road. You know, that's
Yeah.
probably these people probably have like the highway blindness, like staring off into the distance as they drive this caravan and stuff. It's probably pretty
Well, yeah.
soul sucking work, right?
Like I know my uncle actually used to be a trucker, and
My
he's
stepdad's
retired.
still a trucker.
Mhm.
It's been his only job, and he's
Yeah.
almost retired.
Yeah, it's a good if you can survive long enough in that career, you retire well. My uncle's the person doing best out of the whole family right now. But
Yep.
yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Like that makes a lot of sense, and they would probably have like systems in place because this isn't even like if a semi overturns on the highway, it's going to be a disaster. But comparatively to like in this case, a whole train of the search, which might have hundreds of people working on it with thousands of pieces of extremely dangerous or rare technology, irreplaceable technology. Yeah, no, there's going to be someone who walks and is like, hey, I saw your head nod. You're getting out of the cockpit. Oh, I got it. Gun to neck. Get out of the cockpit now. It's Bob's turn.
It's
Like,
shift
so-
time. We're changing shifts.
Yeah, exactly.
These are like
they
the,
would have
uh,
structure.
They're kind of like the Ugnaughts from Cloud City. That sort of those little like pig men that deconstructed C-3PO and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But we are at the hour mark, fellas. So great conversations. I like how we came up with an insult. This is our world's muggle.
It's a whole nother civilization. 3 civilizations plus a sub-civilization up there.
Yeah.
Nothing too hard. That was easy.
You guys are going on the guests of the month wall, I guess. So folks, we're gonna take a quick about 5-minute break. In the meantime, we will take prompts from you, which means you can send in a one-word prompt. You could send in an entire idea. It doesn't matter. You could do the one-word prompts like we do. You could come up with something like, oh, how do these people function? What do they do? What do they eat? That sort of stuff. But we will be right back in 5 minutes. So have your questions and prompts ready for us.
See you soon.
Okay, we are back. Chuck, I I literally came back on a little bit sooner than we would have. Thank you for the gift subs, man. Holy crap, I can't thank you enough for that. The amount of love that I've seen in this community, just and yesterday's stream and today's stream, it's overwhelming. Thank you so much. Don't give me another one. I'm thanking you for the 2. Thank you.
So continues the make red super embarrassed and happy Olympics. Day 2. Starting strong, Chuck with the lead.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. Seriously, I mean that. Thank you is just so. It doesn't describe how much I appreciate you. Don't tell me how to live my goddamn life.
My goddamn life, Mr. Chuck. I do what I want.
Chuck coming to play. Oh man,
Chuck, you are a pillar in this community, and you are appreciated, man.
Cheers, buddy.
Seriously.
Cheers.
Whenever I see the Chuck wagon, I get so excited.
You better be on that Chuck wagon, because if you ain't, just ain't for it.
That is
the true tiny secret locomotive of our community.
Chuck.
The Chuck tiny secret locomotive. It doesn't run off the tongue as well as Chuck wagon, but I won't tell you how to live your life anymore, Chuck. Thank you.
maybe the search their thing can be the Chuck wagon.
The Chuck
I love that. That's one of them. One of them is piloted by Chuck. I love that.
Choo choo Chuck.
So before we get back to the all the words we haven't done and such, I did want to mention that I had a thought while I was emptying my bladder, and so I had to mention it. And God, please let my brain still keep it in my head. Let me just make sure I stick with it. Okay. So, nope, never mind. It's gone. Unfortunately, it has left me.
Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you for the gift sub. Much love.
Aw.
That's my significant other.
Thank you, Hal.
Thank you, Elise. I love you, baby. Oh, face is getting hot.
Hey, Hal, I might have work for you in the future.
Nice.
We need a hype train? No, I'm trying to run a show.
A hype train is close. The locomotive doth approach.
Oh, I don't want to. Nah. Oh, no. No. Oh. Thank you. Seriously. I can't say thank you enough. It's starting to sound disingenuous.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
You're doing good, buddy.
Thank you. Seriously.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, it has reappeared in my head. I will strike while the iron is hot. So, thought. The reason why the search exists between these 3 communities, we've talked about the little Fertile Crescent area they live in, and that this place is relatively stable compared to a lot of the rest of the wastes, allowing them to do this. What if, and follow me on this, the reason that search exists and why these 3 city-states, who seem to be relatively doing okay, have thrown their lots in together, is because of the fact that they don't have any or very many tethered in their communities or their city-states. Whereas all the other city-states might nearby be comparatively worse, these guys don't have the upgunned, basically god mages that other civilizations get. And while they have access to dust, it's better spent on technology in these civilizations. And none of the 3 really have the tech to compete with literal atomic mages floating by. So that was my thought. I figured I'd run it by you guys.
I mean, it's good.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, yeah, you need if you have all these defenses, you need something to like shoot.
You need
at.
a reason. For the That's the
There's got to
trick.
be justification.
Exactly. That's like the first thing that it comes up whenever I'm building something in a setting or whatever. I'm like, I really like this idea. Why though? And if I can't answer why, then I go, okay, I'll put it away and I'll bring it out later.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And there's our reason why. They're beautiful, lovely little communities, lovely little city-states. Sans the fact that they really don't have any serious magical guns to bring to bear. But maybe airships might, split the difference.
You people love your airships, and I'm not with them. I'm gonna be honest.
That's,
I feel like airships are a one-way street to steampunk town, and I don't like steampunk. So
yeah, I'm with you.
okay, I'm glad I'm not
just
alone.
balloon it. Just balloon style, no steam, big balloon, fans.
I can't wait for
there are
Hindenburg
ways
too.
around it. There's other alternatives. We could always just lean into the locomotive. Just make like land ships. So that'd be
Zeppelin?
just as devastating.
Chuck said Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Actually, I was gonna wear a
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin shirt, but I realized there was a stain on it. So,
Yes.
let me read what prompts we got.
Yes. I thought
Neris
Neris dumped a bunch earlier.
Neris did dump a bunch. Thank you. I appreciate you. Perhaps the business people are like, well, we and they are going to run out of the tech eventually. Better engineer a situation where they get tech that we can obtain. Oh, God. Yeah, they're just kind of creating an official economy by, like, that's weird. That's very meta, though. I hate to say. I like
I mean,
that.
it makes sense though, right? Like,
Yeah,
we
they're
make
setting things
economies.
up. Yeah, they're literally
Yeah.
plotting out how the. That's weird. I like that.
That's how you emerge out of a subsistence environment. You make an economy. You make a cycle of goods and trade that's self-sustaining, so that your society doesn't have to depend on dude goes in the forest. What did he find? Or
right.
or like anyone really. Let's not make this sexist. But yeah, same thing.
Neris was also talking about how the different city-states depicted the leaders being bigger, larger, and or stepping over people, like
Oh
to like
yeah.
and like propaganda. And they also continued that thought. They're like kind of curious how the propaganda art in these city-states develops. Yeah, they'd probably depict these like kingly figures, monarchical figures as like giants, but they're in reality they're like 5'7". So like.
It
Yeah.
could be also like a propaganda tool to deal with the fact that these other surrounding threatening communities or city states literally have like terrifying, from the perspective of the average person, quasi godlike entities that fight for them. And so these city states that don't have that literally have to deify their leaders as like a, hey, we're fighting the good fight against these schmoes, and tethered or villainized and made to be monsters by comparison to the good and right, noble human being fighting against the abominations that are our doorsteps, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Plus, also like Babylonian art's awesome. Just saying that as an art student.
Now,
So-
Neris has got me thinking about like drawing up some like propaganda posters and stuff like that. But
We should do that for the different city states we eventually make.
we should.
Just
Although
like
That would be sweet.
yeah,
architecture is considered a form in its own right. Kind of thinking of
Mhm.
the Babylonian Ishtar Gate. It's functional, but it's also pretty as hell, and definitely a show of power and the wealth of civilization that built it. See, you say that, but that makes me think of the Garden of Babylon, the one that was not even we're not even sure if it existed or not. That giant garden that was just like a mile wide, and it was just the most beautiful thing you could imagine.
which
we
is
don't
also
even-
inherently practical too.
Yeah.
Like, we always think of gardens as ooh pretty, let's go lounge in it, but like historically,
you could
garden
feed
has
an
been
entire civilization with the Garden of Babylon, is what was said.
exactly, and you don't have to worry about fighting with your local farmers or folks in the Fertile Crescent off the Nile. You don't have to worry about like fighting for the precious silt. You just build your own, basically.
And let me say something controversial. I think the Garden of Eden is based upon the Garden of Babylon, but
I mean that could make a degree of sense. I definitely don't think I don't think it's a bad take. Like,
I mean,
conceptual.
everything's derivative of something else. We're just reinventors, you know. But
Exactly. Also, that's the Ishtar Gate, by the way. I just posted up in the document because
let's see.
yeah, it's gorgeous.
Oh wow,
It's
that is really cool.
really
yeah, no, I've
pretty.
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
it's still around actually.
What if it was
still-
blue?
Yeah. Yo, it's because okay, so this is an actual thing. Because of the rarity and the cost of acquiring anything that would be blue, which would be either gemstones, expensive, stone,
Mhm.
still expensive, or God forbid dye, which is nuts because also fun fact, nature doesn't create blue dye.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as blue dye. You have to manufacture that crap from indigo. So if you're wearing blue or purple robes, you're doing it because you thought, I'm going to dress myself in the single most expensive thing possible. And the Babylonians made an armored gate out of the expensive stuff. So, yeah.
They were so
like-
cool.
That's just like a power move.
Yeah, that is a big old, like, that's the civilization equivalent of, like, a pelvic thrust on the dance floor.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
literally
pure-
the civilizational equivalent of a flex. Like,
Yes.
look at us.
Oh yes, we call it the Babylonian flex. It is noted in
Yeah.
textbooks as
Yeah,
such.
you guys got nothing on a Babylonian flex, man.
That sounds like a dance from the 80s. All right,
love
everybody,
that, though.
let's do the Babylonian flags.
Yeah, there you
So-
go. That's what it really looks like in real life. It's quite pretty, actually. And you can even see little spots where archers can pop their heads out and
Oh,
shoot
yeah.
down. Yeah. It's really practically designed.
It's cool. Chuck was saying you could still do locomotives and put them together with airships. Could go the lost/misunderstood technology route and have gates that are essentially using air magic to force the trains through these portals, like goddamn catapults, in his words. Yeah, but I feel like we're also like tripping down the Eberron route if we do that, sort of having like elemental
Yeah.
airships and that sort of thing. And I think that's a little too high fantasy for this world. I like your train of thought though, but I also like the idea of literally just like I want to get from point A to point B. Punny, prepare the catapult.
I mean, that
Get me my bubble suit.
like there is sadly no historical equivalent that I'm aware of dudes thinking I want to travel fast, put me in catapult and I'll somehow survive. But
If you need to travel fast and high, you get a trebuchet.
yeah, as long as you don't mind never doing anything ever again after you make that journey. But that said though, what if so here's my thought. I've been thinking about it and I kind of agree. We are trying to stay away from steampunk, if only
Right.
because actually just because of aesthetics. It's just not the aesthetics of the setting that we've been working on. But you could still use varieties of air power. And one of the first things that people think of when they think about like, aircraft or airships is the big dirigibles. But that's actually not like the first ones. The first ones were just very primitive hot air balloons. Very primitive, like maybe one person. So what if the idea of this is they're developing a ability for, say, an armored train or a militarized armored train that they would use that has the ability to recon for itself with a deployable balloon? Not like anything you could strategically.
Doesn't look cool though. There's nothing cool about a
No,
hot air
it
balloon.
would look cool as hell. I am sorry. No, that's a challenge. I'm getting out the tablet. I'm gonna do it now. But yeah, no, I
Oh.
think that could be a possibility.
It's
I
is it-
like the idea.
Is it wrong that I just hear like Ride of the Valkyries in one dune in this really hobble looking balloon?
They're like,
Just
what
trying
is
to
the
go to
purpose of our
war?
mission?
Like
We've been
for
gathering
me,
all this technology to make this balloon.
war balloon.
I mean, yeah, that's a great example from the Avatar, the original animated Avatar series, not the movie and not the second season, where like for them the advent of air power was literally, yeah, we literally just made a hot air balloon, and everyone's like, wow, that's not that impressive, and they're like, it doesn't seem like it, right? And then they start dropping bombs on you, and suddenly, yes, it's very fucking impressive that just
That
being
makes sense.
500 feet above you and having no structure to destroy that can stop you, that works well. Especially if it's something you can deploy and pull back down again. That's literally a deployable guard tower. That's a deployable battlement. That
That's
has a
true.
lot of
That's true.
utility.
But it doesn't
You
look
get a
cool.
big enough balloon, you can just drop bigger stuff on people.
Yeah, pretty much. Or you could use it as a defense against larger things. I think of like the Hobbit. I think it's the Battle of the Five Armies, like the extended scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have all the elves shooting arrows, and the dwarves are like, get out the super cool ballistas we've been holding and never going to use again in the series because we only recently thought of this. Just completely fuck over all the archers. And you're like, wow, you guys have so much spite in your hearts. You literally designed a weapon to screw with just one civilization.
I mean, some people can be that spiteful.
I mean, dwarves in that setting especially. But
Well,
yes.
yeah.
Sorry, we'll steer back away from that. I just figured I would run those ideas packs, by. So
I do see the like tactical benefit of being able to deploy a balloon, and it does. But when I picture like this super cool train looking thing, and I can almost like hear the heavy metal music in the background as this thing like rolls up on a unsuspecting civilization, Mad Max style, and then they like a little balloon pops out of it. I'm just like, that's not cool.
It just says happy birthday on the balloon.
It's one of the things they drop on their handheld bombs. It's like happy birthday written on it. Little birthday candles.
Smiley face.
Yeah. Little, yeah, no, just
But
thoughts.
Yeah, I like it. but yeah, the aesthetic of it. And then you said you want to steer away from airships as well. So like the point of the search is not to create an air force at the end of the day. It's some other technological goal.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be safe to say that they would sort of steer away from doing something like that, because that's not